If you clicked on this video because you want fast edge banding tips, then let's waste no time and get right into it. When using a long piece of edge banding like this, use tape to secure your piece so it is lined up. Remove each piece of tape as you progress along your board's edge, melting the glue in small sections. Don't use a dedicated iron for edge banding unless you do a ton of it. You'll end up paying 3 to 4 times the cost of an inexpensive iron that you could have gotten at Amazon or your local department store. They both do the same thing. Get hot, unless it's going to cause a problem in your marriage because you're using your wife's iron. Set your iron to the hottest temp. That's how hot it needs to be. Just use common iron sense and don't leave it in one spot for too long or it'll burn your wood. Applying edge banding is always easiest when your board is stable, so clamp it in a vise or against your work table like this. Saw marks, depressions, and deviations will be visible after applying the banding. Be sure to sand these down flat, and better yet, just make good cuts. Use strips that extend at least a ½ inch past each end of your board's edge. As it melts, the strip tends to slide in the direction that you are ironing. Tilt your iron at an angle so your edge banding seam has good adhesion. Pockets of air tend to be trapped under the edge banding while the glue is hot. Immediately use a roller after heating to get the air out to form a uniform bond along the entire board's edge. Allow your glue to dry for about 10 minutes before trimming any of the edges. If you try to manipulate the banding before it's dry, you will definitely pull it up, cause air pockets, and poor adhesion. After the glue dries, lightly flick up with your finger on the banding's edge to check for poor adhesion. The high-pitched sound indicates you need to iron that spot again. Then tap on the face of the banding to check for air pockets. You may hear a high-pitched sound where the glue didn't stick. Iron that spot again. Use flush cut pliers to cut off the ends of the banding. There are a few dedicated tools for this task, and I will leave links for them in the video description, as well as other edge banding tool links, so check them out. Don't cut against the grain when trimming the banding overlap. This can veer your tool's blade too far into the edge and cause an unsightly gouge. The grain may switch directions on one single edge, so go slow and pay attention. After trimming the overhang, smooth the edges with either a sanding block or a file. Try both methods to see which results you like best. Some say the sanding block puts the veneer at risk of being removed, but the reality is both of them can do that. If you plan on staining iron-on edge banding, then sand with 220 grit so the stain will better absorb into the veneer. And now it's time for your ultimate pro tip. If your board's edge will be mostly visible on one side, edge band the lesser viewed side first, so the more viewed sides will overlap, thus hiding any seam. Iron-on edge banding is a technique that gets you a big bang for your buck. With very inexpensive tools and very little woodworking experience, you can elevate your DIY furniture pieces to the next level. You can easily make professional looking projects as a beginner. This video is just one video of a multiple edge banding video series, so make sure you click on the next video right here where I show you how to get perfect edge banding without using any edge banding specific tools. Tools any basic DIYer probably has in their toolbox already. See ya!